From time to time, Debbie, when women come in early, like this one patient did, we'll find a problem that may focus or point that child toward death.
So I went in for a normal scheduled appointment with my OB/GYN. I was about 14 weeks pregnant at the time. So the doctor starts doing the little sonogram and he goes through the usuals. Here's the heartbeat and the spine. And then he discovers something that wasn't quite right. And he described it as a bubble in the baby's stomach area. And he said he didn't really know what that was. So he left the room and came back and said, "You have an appointment tomorrow in Dallas with a team of specialists."
This one particular baby had an abnormality that would have otherwise resulted in death.
It was a kidney problem?
It was a kidney obstruction. The baby's bladder was obstructed.
When the doctor found the bladder was full of fluid and there wasn't any amniotic fluid around Jake in the womb, then they decided to do a shunt procedure where they would go in and try to get a shunt to drain the bladder into the amniotic sac. So what they did was they got Michelle in there and gave her a general anesthetic in her belly area. And of course they had a sonogram going so that they could guide the insertion of the needle. And the goal was to put the needle, it was an amniocentesis needle, and it was, I don't know, it seemed like it was about 3 feet long, but it was probably, like 10 or 12 inches long. Anyway, they threaded a double pigtail shunt through the needle and then used the needle and punched it down through the belly into the amniotic sac, and the goal was to get it inside the bladder with one pigtail and outside his skin the other pigtail, but inside the amniotic sac. And there was very, very little room between those because there wasn't much fluid in there, and so his belly was basically sticking to the inside of the amniotic sac. They did the procedure and it succeeded the second time, and the bladder began to drain into the amniotic sac outside his body. And so when he was born, he had a little pigtail shunt hanging out of his belly.
Mm-hmm. And the testimony here of the mother's care for her child, coming in early, she saved this baby's life. She came in early, we saw the problem, and we fixed it while the baby was on the inside.
The procedure that Dr. McGee did was one of the very first times this had been done, and most babies are not born live if they're even carried to full term. Even though the procedure saved his life, he still faced many complications, including reconstructive surgeries, kidney problems that later resulted in kidney failure, and a kidney transplant in June of 2006. When he was little, we were always surprised to see what a happy, energetic little boy he was, even though his kidneys didn't work and he didn't feel well. He's always been a fighter. He's taught us to be positive, even in tough times. We are so proud to see the incredibly bright, talented, and funny 17-year-old that he has become.